Victor Belfort, who is a former UFC light heavyweight champion, I believe, stopped Evander Holyfield in the first round in a boxing match on Triller. I saw the fight. Holyfield aesthetically is in absolutely incredible shape for a man who's nearly 60. I mean, he's in incredible shape for a man 35, right? The vast majority of people, even in their 20s and 30s, don't have physiques like Holyfield has when he's nearly 60. And obviously, people are going to talk about the steroids and Evan Fields, all this kind of stuff. Yes, I am aware of all that. But at the same time, there are lots of people that take steroids that don't look like Holyfield. Yeah, you just look at somebody, for example, like Erkan Tepe. Holyfield has tremendous genetics. That's why he's able to look the way he looks, even at this age. So with that impressive physiology aside, in terms of his ability to still fight, Holyfield is completely done. And people were talking about watching him on the pads in the run-up to this fight. And when they saw that, they realized this is going to be a horrible mismatch. Holyfield's going to get a drubbing here. And that was the case. Although he didn't really take much punishment, Belfort came out. He was very aggressive. He put Holyfield on the back foot immediately. Holyfield kind of tumbled to the canvas without being hit. From what I saw first time around, he got up. The next time, Belfort attacked him again, and Holyfield was just in defensive mode. He really wasn't getting any punches off. Belfort hit him with an uppercut. Holyfield went down for a second time. This time it was called a knockdown. He got back up. He didn't look particularly hurt to me, but Belfort jumped on him again. Holyfield was just defending himself, but he wasn't throwing punches back. And, you know, when you're dealing with a fighter who's as old as Holyfield, I'm not going to complain too much about the referee stopping it like that because, again, Holyfield didn't seem particularly hurt. He seemed a bit more surprised than hurt, you know? He just wasn't in the groove, and that's what's going to happen when you're nearly 60 years old. You don't have the reflexes. You don't have the wherewithal that you had when you were a younger man, you know? So although Holyfield wasn't severely concussed or anything like that, he just wasn't at the races. He just wasn't sharp enough to be able to engage with his opponent, and the referee called it off. So it was a sad sight, and a guy like Holyfield, who all his life has been proving the doubters wrong, it's hard to get him to realize that it's over, you know, to realize that he can't do certain things anymore. Because whenever people told him that he can't do this and he can't do that earlier on in his life, he would believe in himself, come back and prove people wrong, and therefore train himself not to listen to other people. You see it? And that same mindset is what he has now. He's not interested in listening to what other people have to say because he's proven people wrong so many times. There is a thin line between self-belief and self-delusion. And Holyfield, unfortunately, has crossed over into self-delusion at this point. Victor Belfort, who is, I believe, in his early or mid-40s now, he has called out Jake Paul for a $30 million fight after the victory over Holyfield. Now, Jake Paul's got options. There's a lot of people that want to fight him. Pretty sure Anderson Silva wouldn't mind fighting him. Anderson Silva also wouldn't mind fighting Belfort, I think. I saw Anderson Silva speaking at the post-fight press conference, and he seemed somewhat interested in that Belfort fight. Two UFC guys fighting, and of course, Anderson Silva just knocked out Ortiz, right? Tito Ortiz. Belfort seems a lot more competent in the boxing ring than Ortiz, however. But I'll come to that in another video. Belfort versus Jake Paul. I like the fight. I don't have an issue with it. I prefer Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. But Belfort versus Jake Paul is okay too. He's just fought a guy who is around Belfort's age in Tyron Woodley. And that was a competitive bout. Jake Paul did win, but again, it was competitive. So Belfort probably looked at that. And obviously he wants the payday, right? But I'm sure he also would have looked at how Tyron Woodley did and thought to himself, you know what? I can do better than that. I can go one better and actually beat Jake Paul and get paid handsomely in the process. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Victor Belfort, his performance against Holyfield, and also the prospect of him facing off against a Jake Paul or even an Anderson Silva. Let me know in the comments.